Hello friends, welcome to days 4 and 5 of Summerween. If you haven't seen my face before, my name is Alexis and welcome to my channel. If you haven't caught my first Summerween vlog where I finished reading 3 books throughout the first 3 days of Summerween, go ahead and check it out. I will have it linked down below in the description box. I haven't read anything above a 3.5 star for this entire week so far, so my ultimate goal is to find a 4 or 5 star spooky book. At the end of yesterday, I read about 25% into She Started It by Sean Gilbert, and since getting home from work, I have just read up until the halfway point, which is to the start of chapter 18. If you don't know what She Started It is about, it's about a group of 5 girls who used to be friends back in high school. 10 years have gone by, 4 are still really tight, but the one that they used to bully throughout school is getting married. Even though she has been astray from the group for the past 10 years, she randomly sends them an invitation in the mail to her wedding where she asks the other 4 of them to be her bridesmaids on an all-inclusive paid trip to a tropical island. These girls don't think it's weird. If I were them, my red flags would have been going off like crazy, but they agreed to go on this trip, and ever since stepping foot on that island, chaos has ensued. This book just reassures me why I don't have many female friends in my real life, because oh my god, girls can be catty as hell. Chapter 17 is where everything starts really going down. Poppy just revealed these nasty things that she did to the other 4 girls in current day to literally ruin their adult lives. The only word I keep thinking of is catty, because it truly is. To hold a silly grudge over being bullied in high school for the past 10 years, enough for it to influence your adult life, it's just silly to me. Why waste your time and energy to ruin these other girls' lives who haven't been in yours for the past 10 years? All 5 of these girls are terrible. They are absolutely terrible humans. So now they all have something against each other that has just been revealed, and we have the last half of the book to figure out what on earth is going to happen next. With no communication and no way to get back to the main island, I can only imagine what I am about to read. I'm hoping I can get close to finishing this today. We will see, because The Bachelorette is on tonight and obviously I have to watch that. Ironically enough, this book title is She Started It, but I sure in the hell believe that one of these girls is going to end it. Like, it also looks like we might have some severe thunderstorms heading my way tonight, so if that is the case, I am going to be so freaking excited. Oh man. So I just got home from baseball. We lost terribly. It was actually a really fun game. All the kids were laughing, having fun. It just felt like a team tonight. And honestly, that's always my goal every single game. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. It was still a good night. But before I went to baseball, I came home really fast. And within that time span, I ended up finishing She Started It by Sean Gilbert. I have quite a few thoughts on this, and honestly they're not the best. I'll just get it out of the way. I was not a fan of this book. If you're looking for a bingeable summer read that you would want to read like on a vacation or lounging out by a lake, something along those lines, this would be the perfect book for that. For what the plot of this book was, I almost thought it was too intense for what it was trying to be. And that's not something I normally say. I almost felt like this author was was trying to do too much with not enough fueling the fire. So we get before and after chapters throughout this entire book. We get diary entries from Poppy, the girl who was bullied by the other 4 perspectives that we get. Every time a diary entry came up, I kind of just sighed because, girl, we get it, you were bullied very, very badly. But it was one of those things where I was just like, okay, we get it. I was reading this and it almost read like a cheesy slasher. Someone would die and I would be like, oh, you're dead. I had no connection to the characters. I just didn't really care about what happened for this entire book. Also, another thought about the characters, it was so tough keeping them apart. The only ones who really stuck out to me were Poppy, Abigail, and Chloe. The other 2, I couldn't tell you a single thing about them. This is a debut thriller, so I guess I get it, but also at the same time, it just wasn't up to par, especially for it being a book of the month pick. I ended up guessing the twist halfway through along with the ending, so nothing at the end was a surprise. Nothing came out of nowhere. This was one of those books, what you read is what you were going to get. I'm going to end up rating this 2.5 out of 5 stars. That may seem low, but going back and looking at my Goodreads, just browsing the other thrillers that I have rated around the 2 or 3 star mark, it definitely falls in the middle, so that is how I came up with the 2.5. Also, one more thing about the ending, it is left with a slight open end. So if that's not usually your vibe of a book that you want to read and you want answers on everything that happened within the book, definitely don't pick this one up. So with knocking out that thriller, we are picking up another one, obviously because it's Summerween, and that is going to be Sisters of the Lost Nation by Nick Medina. I haven't seen anything about this anywhere, so I am very, very excited to give it a go and give you guys my thoughts. All I want out of this Summerween week is to read a book that I love, or that I at least like. I haven't rated anything above a 3.5, and that stings really bad. Now, what would Summerween be without actually doing something spooky? Right now, we are at an old vacant care facility that was built in the 1960s here in my hometown. It has been vacant since about 2020. It was in operation up until that year. In 2020, here we got a really bad storm called a derecho. It's basically an inland hurricane that wiped out this entire place and has since been left untouched. Speed up to 2023, now it is set to be torn down here in just a few days. So I figured before that day comes, why not take a little spooky walk around the building so I can hopefully share some spooks with you guys. When you first walk in the main doors, this is basically what you see. As you can tell, it was definitely left abandoned. Everybody just got what they needed and up and left. This place has multiple hallways that break into different sections, so this is just one. Then back here in this room is what used to be the kitchen. We did not bring flashlights for this, so this is definitely raising the creepy level. I know. As I was saying about this place having multiple hallways, there is one. Here is a little nurses section here. There is another wing down that way, and then as I turn to my right, that's a long hallway. Since this place breaks into so many different ways, I kind of just picked a hallway to walk down to see if we could find anything. Obviously, there's been a bunch of vandals in here over the past 3 years since it has basically been left untouched.
I keep hearing something down here. I don't know if it's like a raccoon or what it is.
So we're gonna go down there.
Yeah, come on.
So this place has about 3 or 4 basements, and this is one of them that we are going down into without flashlights, and it is flooded still. There's still water on the ground. I can see it a lot better on this camera. And boy, does it smell. Yeah, and let a rabid raccoon fly at my face.
Go look at that.
No, I don't want something to pop out at me.
You'll be fine.
Stop it. It's so dark it won't even focus.
Oh, okay.
As you can see here, these are just all abandoned walkers and wheelchairs. It's honestly pretty sad. This is just an abandoned cabinet, but look at how cute these little paw prints look. Obviously it has to be from like a raccoon or something, but how adorable. This is just walking back down one of the hallways. I don't know where my dad went, so if he just jumps out and scares me, this is not going to be funny. Then over here, this is all termite damage that has taken place, and it is all throughout the building. You can see their little tracks through the wood. Here is another nurse's station that was left untouched. Another wing of rooms down there that patients used to live in. And then this way is back towards the entrance. Down this way, I think were just closets and utility rooms that the staff could just store stuff in. Did you hear that? We can play tic-tac-toe. This way is just more residence rooms as well. One final pan of the area. Everyone here in town thinks that this place is haunted, so if you guys would like to see a video maybe before this place gets torn down here in a couple days, let me know, and maybe that's something that I would be able to film. Well, hello. It is currently day 7 and the end of day 7. It's 10 p.m. and I just got home. My hair is a frizz ball, so we're just going to have to ignore that. I was out in the rain, the pouring rain. It was absolutely beautiful though. We had a baseball game, hence the shirt. I'll insert a picture here so you can see the sky we were playing under until it absolutely broke loose. Beautiful lightning, beautiful skies, but we have to protect the children, so we couldn't play. Today's day 7 and the final day of Summerween. We're just gonna forget about day 6. I did not vlog at all yesterday. I did actually start reading Sisters of the Lost Nation by Nick Medina. I am about 30% of the way in, and since I didn't vlog anything yesterday, I feel like I owe it to you guys to spice the end of this video up. So today is actually the last day and last 2 hours of Summerween, but I'm going to end this vlog when I finish reading this book. I just feel like it's gonna be a way to end everything off so I don't have to continue talking about this book in another vlog. I said this in my first Summerween video, but I knew the first 3 days were gonna be my most productive days of Summerween. But the fact that this is my 1, 2, 3, the fact that this is my 5th book in 7 days, I deserve a pat on the back for that one. So far what's happened is we're learning about the horror element, paranormal-esque creature in this book that we still don't know much about that might be lurking in the shadows and within the forest of this setting. And we're trying to figure out, does that lead into the disappearance of all of these women throughout the tribe? Or on the other hand, is it the heroin and drug problem that has been brought into this tribe that is also leading into the disappearance of these women? Our main character, she is a feisty little high schooler and I love her. I didn't know she was gonna be a young main character, but I don't think that takes away any from the story so far. And we're actually following her perspective because her sister was the most recent girl who has gone missing. We also spend a lot of time at Anna, who is our main character's place of work. She is a housekeeper at this creepy hotel that has me looking over my shoulder because something sinister is definitely going on behind the closed doors. My goal for tonight is just to change in my pajamas, get into bed, and read some more of this book. I've been thinking about it all day, so I want to dive back in and hopefully continue enjoying it. Pretty sure I'm wearing the same sweatshirt that I wore in this spooky nursing home clip. It's several days past that, so let's just ignore that fact. Earlier today at work, I finished listening to the audiobook of Sisters of the Lost Nation, and this Summerween readathon was not my thing. I have a few gripes with this book. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. This book is described as a mythological horror. The only horror element in this entire book is our main character Anna's fear
of this disembodied rolling head that lives up in her imagination from an old folklore story that she was told when she was a child. She is now in high school, and that same story still haunts her, so when she's out exploring the reservation at night, she often gets spooked by what she thinks is this random disembodied head rolling around, but it has no ties to what's actually going on in this story with the missing woman whatsoever. So is this book to be classified as a horror? It's a bit of a stretch in my opinion. When I read this, I felt like I was on a roller coaster because one minute I was gripped by the story, the next I was just listening and zoning out. Then fast forward, I was needing to know what was going to happen, but then by the end I was really just let down by everything that occurred. And I think a big part of that has to do with how the story itself is told. The story was fine, but the execution of it via the timeline was completely lackluster. The narrative was just structured in such a fragmented way where one chapter it would be 39 days prior, but then the next chapter would be current day. Fast forward to 64 days ahead to 2 years ago when the two sisters got in a fight. Usually around the halfway mark, I start to understand stories told like this a bit more, but the way that this one was told, especially through the writing, it just seems so clunky and chunky. That was fun to say. Where it just took me out of the story and never really invested me. At the end of the day, unfortunately, I'm going to be giving Sisters of the Lost Nation a 2-star rating. As someone who loves Indigenous fiction, I was really looking forward to this debut thriller, and I especially appreciate that this novel centers around such an important topic that is showcasing what actually happens and the ongoing struggle that tribes around the nation are still currently experiencing with Indigenous women going missing. Although this book wasn't for me, I still want to recommend some other Indigenous fiction books that I have read in the past and would recommend wholeheartedly if you're still looking to pick something up that centers around this important topic. The first book that I would recommend is a young adult one, but it is Firekeeper's Daughter. I was absolutely hooked from the start of this one and ended up giving it a 5-star rating. The next one that I obviously have to recommend is White Horse. I also gave this one 5 stars and purchased a copy for my dad to read, who also gave it a really high rating. Then the last one I have to recommend is actually the first selection that I chose while becoming a Book of the Month member, and that book is Winter Counts. I ended up giving this a 4-star rating, but I just looked it up on Goodreads and he actually has a sequel coming out to this book coming up here in 2024. So I'm now putting that book on my anticipated releases for this coming year. And with that, that is a wrap on Summerween for 2023. I had the best time participating in all of the photo challenges, making vlogs for you guys here on YouTube, as well as just watching what everyone got up to on Instagram. This was my first time fully participating and it definitely won't be my last. Although I got through a lot of books that I was anticipating, it kind of did me dirty over this past week, but that is okay. I knocked off quite a few books from my physical TBR. And with that, I'm going to end this second Summerween vlog here. I hope you guys enjoyed my reading experiences over this past week and liked that spooky footage from that vacant care facility. That was so fun to head into and explore. Although it was during the daylight, it was still pretty creepy. I already have some video ideas planned for what's to come next on my channel, so be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with everything that I have to come. Drop a like on this video if it's one that you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya!
Oh man.
Delete all of that. What did I say? My mom always texts me. Y'all, baseball parents are crazy. She is a housekeeper. What are those called? A room keeper? Housekeeper, a housekeeper, right? Housekeeping, yeah. The fact that I had to figure that out like that, ridiculous. What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk? I had a 10-year-old come up to me tonight and start singing my humps, and then he started to twerk. It was hilarious. How gross do I look? Yeah, you know the one. My freckles do be freckling recently. Red Robin, yum.